Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha. Well, I'm on a little bit of an instrumental run right now. I just got through just kind of settling down after listening to the Andre Neary Fred super crazy, unbelievable piece of work and musicianship. And I think I'm still in that energy, and I just had another cup of coffee. I just made another fresh cup of coffee, so I'm going to stay with the instrumental expression of musicianship with animals as leaders. I guess, I don't know if you say this is CAFO or CAFO. Correct me. You guys know how I am. The old composer, the decomposer, always making some kind of mistakes. All right, so animals as leaders. I'm just going to say CAFO. And thank you guys so much for your support. You know how I am about that. You guys know that my channel's not monetized. God, I'm so sorry about all the ads that's running. I'm getting so many comments about that, and it's not me. The publishers of the songs, they do the copyright claim. They get the ads and the money. I get donut hole because YouTube still hasn't gotten back to me. So I want to thank you guys for your support, your comments, your sharing of the videos. Thank you for those who have bought me a cup of coffee and maybe in the future that will. I really appreciate it. That goes a long ways for me and also helps out with what I do with the kids and the puppets. The link and stuff is down there. Anyhow, so let me take a quickie zippy. Animals as leaders. CAFO. I know I'm making them. I'm just straighten me out. Be gentle. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. All right. All right, before I let this get a little too away from me, because there's so many things happening here, what can you say about the stamina and the ability of that kind of guitar playing when it comes to the sweeping that goes on, and then of course then that graduates into the tapping that's going on as well with a clean sound. One of the things that fills this up for me, knowing in the back of my mind now that there is no bass player and the other guitar player has that dubious job of rhythmically filling in that tonal zone in the mix. And when I mean the tonal zone, I'm talking literally like bass, mid, highs, and an EQ and stuff like that. And one of the things that I noticed really quick was the fact that the bass arrangement the other guitar was playing, you know, on his 8th string, maybe it was 9th string, I didn't count, I don't know, was identical with the kick. So that tone of the lower string that he's playing on his guitar in the, as the bass line, and the tone of the kick does really fill out that section. That at first, the first time I heard the band, the last time I did a first listen to them, I felt like there was something. I think maybe it was because I was just overly dialed in and waiting for a particular bass sound. But it does, they do a great job in this technique with the engineering and the arrangement and the unison playing of his arrangement and the kick that's following it. Now, as he starts moving forward, I think as he gets in, see, this is where I brain fart, and the better I was, the older I get, the better I was. Like, I can't even say my own thing right lately. I need some ginkgo and less gummy bears. So anyhow, now as he moves forward, as the main guitar player moves forward, since I don't know, I always like to say that before I move forward and I start to dissect layers. It sounds like that sweeping that's happening is now in a repeat as a layer, and now they're adding a little something more to it, the other guitar player. As the other guitar player, or the main guitar player, breaks into, I believe there was a little bit of melody that came in there before he went into the very clean tapping hammer-on pull-off and all the rest of the stuff that's probably going on there that I'm not overly familiar with. Something else that you may have saw me starting to react, I'm like going, oh yeah, I'm loving this, is they had this really super nice keyboard pad, which is those long kind of buttery, those long notes that were being held in the background. Very ambient, very wide left and right in your headsets, and that came in kind of like, at this point now, with everything that was going on with the arrangements and the layers are starting to kind of evolve, I kind of felt like I was like going through the universe kind of in like a full-on like pachinko bouncing off stars kind of, just gave me that kind of vibe. Then right before I stopped, I heard a small bit of arpeggiation with even another keyboard going on in the back, and I found that really super cool. Notwithstanding the musicianship, I'm not here to goober over the musicianship, because at this level we're all pretty secure about how epic they are, but it's what do you do with those skills that makes or break music in instrumentals and anything, and it's always up to someone's opinion too on whether you do or don't like certain things, but an absolute artist expose of excellence here in musicianship. So let's go back a little bit and let's move forward and see what we got. So it looks like we're about to get lit up on with a guitar solo here, but I wanted to bring two things up that I'm hearing. Obviously, there is tone flexing going on here quite a bit throughout this song, and for me, what that is that the guitars in the recording process are not afraid to go clean, like what just happened. There's a really nice little place to kind of reset the needle. Old guy, reset needle. To kind of let your neurons kind of settle from this experience of just this constant barrage of speed and technique and stuff. The guitar, obviously, there's a couple times where we're going from a really hard left right, and then the lead guitar player is playing into a pocket here. The tone there is a very gritty and kind of washy kind of sound. Where it's even though I know he's doing these arpeggiations and these sweeps and the stuff that he's doing with the dirty sound, it just is all kind of running together, which doesn't bother me whatsoever. Actually, I think it actually works really well that way, because I think if it was an overly dotted note kind of staccato kind of playing, then it might be a little too much to actually handle. And then so they're going in and out of different guitar tones. The other thing I want to bring up, you hear me talk about this in my other videos, this is the tempo. It's close to this, right? But the drummer, who you saw me just kind of lose my mind a couple times on some of his phrasings at the end of his measures and stuff, he's playing most of the time in half time to that tempo. So just because I'm here and I'm doing this, and my reactions are all mostly about just the normal listener, the person that's not about music. So if this is the tempo, typically you might hear, but so far most of this has been, right? That snare is not coming in on 2 and 4. But what's brilliant about what's happening here and how the drummer is really the backbone of everything that we're hearing is that the rest of what he's doing are eighths, eighths, sixteenths. I heard a couple 30 seconds, I believe. Definitely 30 seconds in some of the runs and stuff. But as we move forward now and finish this up, I want you to, even that really slow tempo, that slow sounding section, when he was just on the rim, doing rim shots, it was still the same tempo. They didn't change tempo. They changed attitude there, and they laid it way back. But it was the same exact tempo. So that's a really super cool trigger to pull when it comes to composition and arrangement and all that sort of fun stuff. Okay, I think we're about to blaze into a solo, it felt like, so let's see what we got. fade. All right. Jeez. Yeah, like I said earlier, this was an absolute expose in musicianship, skillship, skillsmanship, this is what instrumental music is meant to be. Instrumental music in my world is meant to be as creative and as push the limits as possible. And it's very subjective, you know, there's only a certain audience that really enjoy instrumental music on the first hand. And so let's just say we have this ginormous audience of people who just like songs, right? All lyrics and all the songs, right? But then there's another complete audience that love nothing but instrumentals. And they have the genres: classical, jazz, fusion, metal, and all of the instrumental stuff that we hear. So that's still a massive audience, but yet segmented even smaller. And so it's up to the person who writes instrumentals or arranges and composes instrumentals to not only shine as a piece of music, but in some cases throw out the concerns of what the audience is like. Am I going to write something that's going to be radio friendly or super hip so I can get radio play? And the general answer is no, because there's never been that many radio stations back in the days and even today that just play instrumental. Yes, there's jazz, there's classical, there's some, but in the masses of the music industry, it was all about songs. So any instrumental musician or band or composer or arranger and all of the above mixed in, nowadays there's guys like Owain, I said his name right, who can do everything, and he's brilliant. And I've got another video of his coming up in a little bit, where you just go musicianship, energy, vibe, soulful composition, and this is their expression of that. And I was blown away by the complete musicianship, the endurance of what they were doing. The rhythmical arrangements was absolutely mental, and the fact that I'm wrapping my head around that the other guitar player was holding down the bass. And once I let that go, like at the beginning of the track, I was like, okay, there's no bass player here. What are we gonna do? Once I said what I said at the beginning, I let it go, and it filled up nicely and sounded mental. All right, guys, listen, thank you very much. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm doing as many videos as I possibly can. I might even do one more later on today, but it's going to be instrumental. For all you guys who are bombing me with the request, please do. I will get to it. There's a few of them that are kind of funny. Go, this is day 27 of me asking for, how do you do? I'm doing everything I can, guys, really. Thank you once again for hanging out. AKG 240, it's linked below. Support if you want to buy me a little cup of coffee, as if you see fit. Link is also below. Alrighty, guys, take care. Aloha. All right.